Survival very often comes down to defense. And defense can take many forms. Some seek the safety of crowds, while others hide in plain sight. Some meet aggression with even stronger aggression, while others build fortresses against invaders. From armored bodies to feisty attitudes to outright deception. Defense has only one rule: do whatever it takes to survive the wild. The rolling grasslands of the African savanna is a proving ground. Every day, herds of grazers test their defenses against stealthy predators. And one of these groups of hardy herbivores is built for the challenge: the African buffalo. Tipping the scales at close to a ton and with the shield of horns up to 40 inches long, it would make most predators think twice. With the body of a cow and the aggression of a tank, they've been known to turn the tables and attack human hunters. In Kenya's Masai Mara National Reserve, a herd of African buffalo is about to teach the local bullies a lesson. Sticking together by the hundreds or thousands is one secret of their success. Someone's always on the lookout. They don't intimidate the oxpecker birds, though, who love them for their ticks. But the herd's peaceful meal is about to be interrupted. Because some of their fiercest foes are making meal plans of their own. The lions play it cool, respecting the buffalo's defensive prowess. The big cats keep their distance, trying to single out a target. But the herd looks after its own, closing ranks around its weaker members. With the more aggressive male buffaloes guarding the peripheries, it's the lions, particularly the cubs, in danger now. The lions back off and the herd resumes its lunch. But despite appearances, they stay vigilant. Each buffalo sleeps for only a few minutes at a time, totaling just an hour over the course of the day. No wonder they can be so cranky. A lone lion tries his luck against the herd. But despite his sneakiest efforts, the cat's out of the bag. What the African buffaloes lack in hearing and eyesight, they make up for with a keen sense of smell. Suddenly, the hunter becomes the game. Outnumbered and overpowered, the lion must wait until the buffalo lose interest and move away. Eventually, the humbled king of the beasts slinks home. And once again, by defending the herd, the buffaloes have defended their title as Africa's boldest bovines. Far from the dry grasslands of the savannah and onto the lush meadows of Europe, where lives an insect whose defense is purely an illusion. The peacock butterfly starts life like most other butterflies, as a spiky-haired, ravenous caterpillar. It can spurt foul-smelling fluid to scare off predators. When it's eaten its fill of nettles and hasn't been eaten by any predator, it undergoes one of nature's most astonishing transformations. A few weeks later, magic. The peacock butterfly. While its beautiful iridescent wings let the butterfly take to the air, they also hold the secret to this fragile creature's bold defense. In Scotland, the subarctic Shetland Islands will put the peacock butterfly's defenses to the test. The harsh winters challenge most animals here. Peacock butterflies take shelter wherever they can, often underground. But these flop houses can include some unfriendly neighbors, like this hungry mouse. Trapped here, the butterfly wouldn't ordinarily stand a chance against the ravenous rodent. But the butterfly literally turns his back on the imminent danger and saves the day. Standing its ground, the butterfly reveals 4 large eye spots that mimic the eyes of larger predators and scare off would-be attackers. The opening wings also make a hissing sound, adding to the fright, especially in the dark. Having survived the winter, the peacock butterfly emerges from its hideout and into a world of new dangers. Birds pose one of the biggest threats. Again, the similarity between the butterfly's eye spots and the eyes of larger birds of prey causes most avian predators to think twice before swooping in for the kill. Conversely, the peacock butterfly's drab underside gives it the option of disappearing. Switching between flamboyant threat displays and invisible camouflage, the otherwise defenseless peacock butterfly manages to avoid or intimidate predators. So, it can get down to the business of sipping nectar undisturbed. Far from the flowery fields of Scotland, and into the quiet depths of the sea, an unsung creature runs through a surprising repertoire of defensive tactics. That's the cuttlefish. This unlikely creature outwits its predators through illusion and subterfuge. In the Coral Triangle, the tropical waters of Indonesia, several species of cuttlefish play tricks on predators every day. These teeming waters hold many dangers for cuttlefish, including other cuttlefish. Juveniles and smaller species make tasty targets for larger, cannibalistic adults. Fortunately, they're masters of camouflage. Disguised as an unappealing piece of flotsam, the smaller cuttlefish drifts by danger undetected. Or blending into its surroundings, it waits for danger to pass it by. Of course, cuttlefish aren't the only predators in these waters, and the adults use similar techniques. Beyond their remarkable talent for changing color, they have the rare ability to alter the texture of their skin and vanish. But sharks don't always buy it. Their electroreception detects living things. So, the cuttlefish resorts to Plan B. A threatened cuttlefish can squirt ink from sacs between its gills to make his escape. For more than smokescreen, he can mix the ink with mucus to form a denser decoy cloud to lure the predator, while the real cuttlefish makes a hasty getaway. Having bought some time, the hunted cuttlefish blends in amongst the coral. The confused shark eventually moves on to find easier prey. Besides survival, the cuttlefish applies its colorful defense skills to mating behavior. Cuttlefish breed face to face. The male passes a sperm sac into an opening near the female's mouth. But first, he must compete against other males to win that right. Defensive threat displays and flashing colors are usually all it takes to determine who's boss. No fight necessary. But not always. Having won the right to breed, the male then defends the female from other suitors until she lays her eggs. Using his defensive talents to protect his life and lineage, he moves on to hunt among the reef. Cuttlefish are masters of self-defense. It's every fish for himself. But elsewhere in the ocean, fish rely on crowdsourcing to keep safe. Herring are some of the most abundant fish on the planet, so they must be doing something right. They thrive off the coast of Norway in the Atlantic Ocean. Their schools, spreading over several miles, can contain billions of fish. Because those enormous shoals shimmer like water, they're hard for predators to spot. But when they are sighted, dinner is served. Sea lions gang up on them, but as the predators strike, the shoal divides and instantly reforms, making individual fish hard to catch. Not all the herring escape, of course, but for each fish, the odds favor survival. The more herring in the school, the less chance of any one fish being eaten. And evasive tactics make catching a fish tougher still. Another way that herring schools protect their species is by procreating. A single herring can release between 50,000 and 200,000 eggs. They can equal up to 20% of her body weight, and they're fertilized after she lays them. With different schools spawning at different times of year, they avoid putting all those eggs in one basket. But they can't avoid predators. Herring spawn in shallow water, which makes them easy targets for shorebirds. While the birds feast on the adults above, the eggs, which sink to the bottom, get devoured by fish and crabs. The school suffers significant losses before it can return to the relative safety of the deep. They pay a price in the short term, but the school's breeding supports their long-term survival. Far from the salty open ocean and deep in the fresh streams and rivers of South America lives a family of agile hunters who don't back down to threats. Giant otters. The largest members of the weasel family, these amphibious mammals can weigh as much as an Irish setter. But it's their defensive skills, not just their size, that allow them to defend their stretch of the river. In Brazil's Joe National Park, a giant otter family will employ those skills against the larger, toothier foe. The highly social otters live in tight-knit family groups that fish together. Slippery when wet, these dexterous hunters have sharp hearing and underwater vision. Plus, they're smart, sticking to shallower water where they can more easily trap fish. And when danger comes, they band together. Here comes trouble now. A caiman, the largest of the alligators, in the mood for something more than fish. The otters play it cool, so long as he keeps his distance. But he doesn't. Submerging to avoid detection, he begins his approach. The otters swing into action, rounding up the kids and moving them out of harm's way. They'll be safe in the den along the riverbank. But that's not good enough. The adults return to the water, believing that when it comes to caiman, the best defense is a good offense. The otters gang together, led by an adult male. They surround their adversary and attack from all sides, including above and below. Swimming in from one direction, an attacking otter will swivel at the last instant to inflict an unexpected bite. The otters, sometimes called river wolves, deliver a relentless assault. Like a wolf pack, they surround the caiman who can't escape. And succumbs to its injuries. The giant otters will eat well tonight, flipping the notion of who is predator and who is prey. Some animals' method of defense is painfully obvious. For example, the porcupine. Among the largest and certainly the prickliest of rodents, around 24 species of porcupine live throughout the world. While porcupines in the Americas can climb trees, their cousins in Africa, Europe, and Asia stay on the ground. But in terms of defense, that's missing the point. It's all about the quills. In Botswana's Okavango River Delta, a family of porcupines make the best of a sticky situation. In the sandy grassland of the delta, they enjoy a leisurely meal. But they catch the attention of one of the delta's deadliest predators. The young leopard is tempted by the prospect of food he doesn't have to chase. But he's about to learn there's no such thing as a free lunch. When threatened, the porcupine fans out her quills into a spiny shield. She will stand her ground until the attacker loses interest. If that doesn't happen, the porcupine can charge and stab her opponent. The leopard cautiously tests out the defensive spikes. The porcupines turn their backs on him, exposing their thicker, sharper quills. Maybe from underneath? No luck. The porcupines mainly ignore him. Until they've had enough. One strikes, spiking the leopard's paw. The leopard is lucky. The barbed quills are designed to remain embedded. He limps away with just a puncture wound. And a lesson on foods to avoid. Without drama or fuss, the porcupines prevail, winning the right to continue grazing undisturbed. Some animals that lack built-in defenses develop ways to build their own. And no one does that better than the tiny termite. Colonies of 1 or 2 million of them, each no bigger than a grain of rice, construct elaborate fortresses. Built of nothing more than earth, spit, wood pulp and feces, these towers can rise over 17 feet. In Uganda's Kibale National Park, an invading army is about to put the termite mound to the test. Termites have finessed their building skills over 50 million years. Their mounds can stand for thousands of years after they've moved out. This one's been bustling for a while. The millions of termites in the colony act like one giant organism devoted to a single goal, serving the queen. It pays off. A termite queen can live more than 20 years. But a threat to the queen and the colony approaches. A legion of army ants, the termites' greatest enemy. These home invaders can kill the colony and pilfer their eggs to feed their own colony. The ants meet little resistance and pour into the mound. But that's part of the termite strategy. Within the labyrinth of chambers and tunnels, the termites mobilize to meet the threat. Beneath them, the queen's attendants seal her chamber against the invaders. If the queen is lost, so is the colony. By allowing the ants to infiltrate the mound, the termites divide their army and halt their advance. As the ants are forced to travel in single file, the termites can fight them one-on-one. Termites design their tunnels as bottlenecks, so soldier termites can block them with their bodies. The termites face the ants on their own terms. The ants, slowed down, lose their advantage. The siege lasts for hours, but eventually the termites prevail and they chase the surviving ants from the mound. The termite colony has suffered heavy casualties, but their strategy saved the day and their queen. Out on the open grasslands of Africa's savanna, a battlefield where predators perpetually clash with prey, zebras employ their effective defenses. It seems like their distinctive striped coat would make them stand out like targets. But the truth is not so black and white. By standing in groups, their multiple eyes and ears keep them alert to danger. And the bigger the group, the less chance any one of its members will be taken down by a predator. But inevitably, someone draws the short straw. Foals make the most vulnerable targets, and the herd tries to protect them. The zebra's bold stripes might actually help hide the animals by breaking up their outline against the landscape. While the stripes might also keep them cool, it's often believed that when zebras stand together, the stripes create a dazzling motion that predators find hard to focus on. Zebras also tend to hang around other grazers, perhaps hoping a hungry lion will pick a wildebeest over a zebra. But even on its own, a zebra's heightened senses of smell, sight and hearing mean it's rarely taken by surprise. And with better stamina than most predators in their range, a zebra can usually outrun its pursuer. In southern Kenya, the zebras at Tsavo National Park will test their defenses against a fast and stealthy predator. Out for a meal, a large cat with a big advantage. The cheetah, the fastest animal on land. Target sighted, a zebra foal. In range, he launches the attack. 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds. The foal is no match, but Mum's got his back. Now the herd's dominant stallion finishes the job. The brave counterattack will make the cheetah think twice before striking again. While zebra remains on the menu, this foal gets a second chance thanks to the power and feistiness of its herd. Out on the plains or under the sea, alone or in groups, animals do what they can to stay alive. When it comes to defense, fight or flight is seldom either or. Between those extremes lies a world of ways to survive the wild.